Right, well today we're going to have a game of Spot the Difference. Can you tell the difference between these two phones? One of them is the Huawei P30 Lite and the other one is the Honor 20 Lite. Let's find out how they're different to each other. I'll put you out of your misery. This one here in the Phantom Blue colour is the Honor 20 Lite, and the one we've got in black here, this is the it's the Huawei P30 Lite. So both of them are brand new phones, brand new mid-range phones, and they look very, very similar to each other. They are subtly different, so hopefully this will come out on camera, but the screens are actually slightly a different size. The P30 Lite's screen is actually very slightly smaller at 6.15 inches, that's the one in my right hand, and the Honor screen is 6.21 inches. So to be honest, because they've got basically the same resolution, you're not going to notice the difference in day-to-day use. They're both IPS screens. Oddly enough, the P30 Lite has a different aspect ratio. It's 19.3 to 9, whereas the Honor is 19.5 to 9. You can see that the way that each company has designed their phone, it's very, very similar with that dewdrop notch with the selfie camera in it. Looking very, very similar. You've got a very thin speaker just above it, again, which is a tiny detail that you can probably just about make out on your screen. And then on the bottom edge, you'll see one major difference here. You can see that both of them have got the much loved headphone jack and another speaker. But the biggest difference is, of course, the USB jack. So on the more expensive Huawei phone, you've got a USB-C, and on Honor's phone, you've got micro USB. Now, if we turn around to the back, you can see that the camera setups and where the fingerprint sensor is located is pretty much exactly the same. When you look at the finer details, Huawei's camera assembly just sticks out very slightly. If I just turn them around so that you can see them, it's hard to see again on camera, but you can really feel the difference, and it means that when you put the Huawei down on the desk, it rocks a lot more than the Honor phone, because I don't know if you can see how much it's actually rocking there, but it's quite annoying if you're not going to use it with the case, whereas there's almost no rocking on the Honor phone. So looking at the internal specs, these are incredibly similar phones. They both use the Kirin 710 processor and both have 128 gig of storage. Now, the only real difference is that the Huawei phone has got 2 gig more RAM at 6 gig than the Honor phone. Both offer expandable storage through a micro SD card. So really, the fact is you're not really going to notice that extra 2 gig unless you're really using loads of browser tabs, so almost no difference there. The real difference comes in those cameras. So if we flip it back to the rear, the main camera, even though it's a triple setup here, really it's a dual setup, because both of those top cameras are 2 megapixel depth sensors, and that means that you can't actually take photos with it. They're just there for the portrait, the blurry background that you see when you use a portrait mode. The third camera on each phone is an ultra wide, and that's an 8 megapixel. So effectively, even though you can see that they're very slightly different, the cameras are slightly further apart on the Honor phone, they essentially give you the same shooting modes, so you've got the same capabilities. Oddly enough, we noticed that on the Huawei phone, we haven't had these phones for very long. We haven't fully tested them yet, so we're just giving you our initial impressions really. But on the Huawei phone, you can go to 2x in the camera app. So if I just fire that up, you'll see that it looks as if you've got a 2x telephoto lens, so you can see the 1x on both phones, and on the Huawei I can actually go to 2x, but that is simply a digital zoom. So the extra lens is not telephoto, it's just a depth sensor. There is one other main difference, and that is that in the Huawei box you get a quick charge adapter, so that means that it will charge a little bit faster than the Honor phone, which doesn't really offer quick charging. That's going to help obviously if you need to recharge the battery. It's going to be a little bit slower on the Honor phone, but because the Honor is £249 in the UK and the Huawei is £329, it means that your choice between these two phones is really whether you want to spend the extra £80 on a USB-C port, or you don't mind that and you're not fully USB-C'd up, and therefore you can live with a micro SD on the phone. And of course there is all the looks as well, because the Huawei does not come in this phantom blue color, which hopefully that comes across on the camera quite well. I mean, you can see hopefully that it's quite a fingerprint magnet. There's my fingerprints are all over it already, but these that lovely sort of blue to purple gradient looks good in the flesh, and hopefully you can see that there's kind of a sort of an iridescence to it as well. They're both plastic backs at this price. They're not glass, so you don't quite get the premium build that you would get on an expensive phone, but the point is these are budget phones. So our initial impressions are they both look like good phones, but you're probably going to want to spend the extra on the Huawei if you want the USB-C port. If you don't mind that and you don't need that, then you're going to save a lot of money by going for the Honor.